Hello Fantasy Faithfuls and welcome to Season 2, Episode 9 of CSD Head-2-Head. Today we're looking at Mike Evans and T.Y. Hilton. Evans is currently being drafted 20th overall, while Hilton goes 30th. Starting off, we're breaking down the receiving of Mike Evans. Mike Evans has some heavily targeted deep zones. 2 zones with over 12% is extreme for wide receivers. And I guess if anyone should have those kind of stats, it should be Mike Evans together with Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. Evans' catch rate is almost depressing to look at for a high-profile receiver. He's below league average in every zone. I know I've done studies showing that the catch rate is one of the least impactful stats for wide receivers, but it has shown that it should stay above 60% in the short zones, and he is right on the edge. His touchdown rate over the last 3 years is only 4.4%, but with the amount of targets he sees, this is an okay number. Looking at the yards per catch is where things get somewhat confusing. He's behind players like Robbie Anderson, Stephon Diggs, and Jarvis Landry when looking at the deep zones. If he's supposed to get his fantasy points from deep targets, I expected higher numbers. However, he outperforms everyone I've looked at this year in the shortest zones, even Antonio Brown.
Jameis Winston steps up and throws deep, looking for Evans, and he's got it for a touchdown!
Now let's take a look at T.Y. Hilton's receiving breakdown. Hilton, just like Evans, sees a bunch of targets to the deeper zones and especially outside the numbers. He does have a huge disparity between the right and left side of the field, with the right in total domination. This is something to keep in mind when Hilton faces cornerbacks that don't travel. His completion percentage in the deeper zones are better than Evans everywhere. The shorter zones are more comparable to Evans as they are almost the same. Both have 60 and 63 to the left and the middle, while the right side is below 60, with a slight advantage to Evans. His touchdown rate over the last 3 years is 3.8% and won't increase too much with luck back, as he has never been a touchdown machine. Hilton's yards per completion are amazing. He does really well when he catches the ball that is thrown further than 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he crushes the rest of the league in short passes over the middle. He could use a yard or two more to the short right, seeing as 30% of all his targets goes there, and he only catches 55% of them.
36 with a fresh set of downs. Steps up. Long look, and he's got Hilton for the touchdown!
In the usability comparison, we compare how many weeks they should have been started last year, meaning they were top 30 wide receivers that week. Evans had 9 out of 15 for 60% usability, while Hilton only should have been started 5 weeks out of 16 for 31%. Adjusting for 4 weeks of Ryan Fitzpatrick, I have Mike Evans projected for 145 targets over the season, while Hilton gets 140. Evans will catch 87 of these, combining Fitzpatrick and Winston, and Hilton will catch 81, adjusting for a 5% negative regression for Andrew Luck's completion percentage.
She was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks, brought a lot of those principles here. Winston, nice job to avoid the blitzing Keanu Neal. Now launches one, and it is caught for a touchdown by Mike Evans.
Now let's have a look at how they perform in different situations. Evans scored slightly more points when playing at home. He is, however, more dependent than Hilton, who is less impacted by where the games are being played. Evans performed better in fantasy when playing within his own conference. This is a big deal considering the amount of games he plays against the NFC. Hilton makes no difference what type of team he plays. When it comes to playing teams with a winning or losing record, Evans scores more points when the Bucs are playing a good team, while Hilton scores way more points against bad teams. Evans' best situation is playing at home versus an above 500 record NFC team. Hilton's best situation is playing at home versus a below 500 record NFC team.
Vision remains in the backfield. Luck fires it inside. Oh, there goes T.Y. Hilton. It's a foot race, and there he goes. Touchdown!
Evans has a weird quarterback situation, with Winston being away for 4 games, so he gets a C, while Hilton might have an A+ quarterback, where we're not 100% sure yet. Comparing the numbers, we see that Hilton's scoring fluctuates more with a high standard deviation, but not by much, but enough to make an impact. Evans has a one-game ceiling of 16.5 to Hilton's 16.6, so they're completely even. However, for the one-game floor, there's a massive win for Evans. He has a 4.4 against Hilton's 1.8. Their seasonal score prediction is even more even than last week, 153.8 against 154.1. Looking at the pros and cons, Evans is amazing in his short zone production and he will see a ton of targets. His floor and touchdown rate makes him very dependable, but he has two inconsistent quarterbacks and has issues with catching the ball. Hilton produces incredible numbers when he catches the ball and has a chance to have a top quarterback thrown to him. But there's a risk luck is not what he once was, and Hilton's bad games are really bad, which is a huge negative, and his usability has been a big question mark. My pick, after comparing all the factors such as the passing breakdown, usability, trend, numbers, pros and cons, is Mike Evans. If you're more inclined to draft for upside, you should go with Hilton, but as I prefer my early draft picks to be dependable, Evans is the guy for me. His floor, usability, and high touchdown rate is the deciding factor, even with the higher draft price. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more weekly content. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror. Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.